Hello guys, this is Radio 69501 and welcome to my history of the Eradicator. Well, the comic I'm going to display, which we all know what I'm going to show, is from 1989. And it is The Adventures of Superman issue number 455. Check that out, that cover. Awesome, huh? Well, I'm going to put it here. Okay. Well, I want to apologize for the lateness of this video, but to be honest with you, it wasn't easy. I had to read a lot of comic books. Kind of like to put the chronological order in my mind, and then with the comic books and so on and so forth. So let's get started. Well, before the start, Eradicator was created by this writer, Roger Stern, back in 1989. The first appearance of the Eradicator was on Action Comics Annual number 2, if I'm not mistaken. That's the first time the Eradicator was first appearance in the DC universe. Okay. So I'm going to tell you the history of Eradicator from the beginning. Everything starts on Superman issue number 22. Which I have it, which I don't know where I have it in one of those boxes, but I must display it. Anyway, so on issue 22 of Superman, that was in 1990, I believe so, that's the issue where Superman kills the three Kryptonians using green kryptonite, to kill Zod, Fiora, and the other guy. I know, I don't know why people are complaining about the movie, but still, because Superman actually killed those three Kryptonians on the comic books. I don't know what's the big deal of it. Anyway, the consequences of that, Superman felt so bad about himself that he decided to exile into space. He actually exiled himself. He said, I cannot take it anymore, I feel too guilty, so he flew away. He went to outer space, kind of like, he exiled himself. Okay, being over there, he ended up in War World. That's kind of like a planet spaceship that Mongol uses, kind of like to have his gladiator fights. So being there, he meets this guy, an alien called the Cleric. Now here comes the fun part. Eradicator was created by some alien races 200,000 years ago. Some planet. And the thing is that when they created that Eradicator, they created it because they want to preserve the identity and the culture of that alien race. And they want to go and they decide to make a lot of those Eradicator and send them into the universe with a group of those aliens. One of those explorers landed on the planet Krypton. And those aliens meet a Kryptonian called Kal-El, which happens to be an ancestor from Kal-El, old ancestor. So being there, which Kal-El, he was a soldier, so I think he did not ask too much questions. He just killed them all, except for one. And the only survivor from those group of explorers, his name was the Cleric, which happens to be here on this cover. The one that looks like the one behind of Superman, that looks like a panda bear. That one there. That's the Cleric. So he got wounded, he managed to survive, and he spent a lot of time hiding. Kal-El took that device, which happens to be like here on the cover. You see, it looks like an egg, put on a base. This is the original form of the Eradicator. Although Eradicator went through a lot of different forms, but original, this is how Eradicator used to look like. This one here. Okay, so Camel took that egg and kind of like alter it, kind of like change it and say, well, this is good for these enemy people which happen to be dead, so I can use that to preserve Kryptonians. Technology, religion, all the beliefs that Krypton has, but of his own way, you know, more like to benefit his way of thinking than the original, what is supposed to be done. While all that is going on, the cleric, the panda bear, he grabbed the egg and flew away, managed to escape. He spent many years in outer space. Till finally he ended up on World War, where he meets Superman at the same time. Because Superman, he ended up there because he exiled himself because he felt guilty about killing the Kryptonians. That's why at the end of the movie, Man of Steel, Superman, he was screaming when he killed Zod. He didn't want to do it, but he had no choice but to do it. But, like I said, it's not the first time. So I don't know what's the big deal of it. So after that, so being on World War, they meet and they start talking about the Eradicator, about the machine, this and that. So the cleric, having the egg on his pocket, he kind of like, he saw the vision on the future that Superman was going to get killed by Mongol. So to change that, he convinced Superman to escape, kind of, while keeping the egg on his pocket. He gave it to Superman because they kind of like share the memories. So Superman has a little bit of the memory of what happened, or how it used to be the Krypton people, the Kryptonian, before he was born, 100,000 years before he was born, even though his father. So once that happened, the cleric died. But before that, when the cleric managed to escape from Krypton, he took with him a couple of Kryptonians. But eventually they died because the Kryptonian, they cannot leave the planet Krypton because they're kind of like they were attached genetically by general was the term. They cannot leave the planet. If they leave the planet, they will die because kind of like they were attached to the planet Krypton. But Superman was the only one who was born. They kind of like altered his DNA so that way he's the only one who can leave the planet without dying. That's why the rest of the Kryptonians died. The same thing happened with Superman. So the thing is that the cleric died because he kind of like detached himself from the egg. So after that, and eventually the cleric, the panda guy, the panda bear, convinced Superman, look, you did what you had to do, and all that with the Eradicator information. So Superman, he managed to convince himself, like, look, forget about it. Now, when the exile happens, this is when Superman goes to the exile. And here is when the cleric dies, which happens to be the panda bear. After all that, finally Superman convinced himself, look, I did what I have to do, it's done, it's over, life goes on, I'm going back to Earth. This is here when he came back to Earth. When he came back to Earth after the exile, you know, he kept the egg on the pocket on his cape. So once he arrived, he was happy to see everybody. Everybody's happy to see him. So when he saw Jimmy Olsen, Superman gave Jimmy Olsen a hug while keeping the egg on his cape pocket. So when he gave Jimmy Olsen a hug, Jimmy Olsen got some kind of like, he got contaminated by a virus, which was produced by the space egg. And the sickness of it, well, it makes Jimmy Olsen to turn kind of like the rubber guy. Well, let's just call it the plastic man. Something like that. So, which eventually, he got better. So, when that happens, Superman and Professor Hamilton realize, look, this is not good, you have to do something about the egg. So Superman, he grew the egg to the North Pole. Being over there, he kind of like the Eradicator himself, he created his own kind of like the Fortress of Solitude. Kind of. That is kind of hard to understand. The thing about the story of the Eradicator is like you have different glimpses in all over the comic books. It's not like there's a specific story arc about it. You have to read a lot. And which I don't have, and I do not have all the comic books. So, being over there, he created the Fortress of Solitude. So he kind of like possessed Superman into thinking that he's a Kryptonian. So he gave the attitude of a Kryptonian, which was given to him by Kal-El. Not the Kryptonian that we know, that they were nice people, they were peaceful, not Kal-El. Kal-El, he was a warrior, he was a soldier. So he wants to keep the memory and the culture on his own image. Kind of like manipulate. So here he becomes more cold, more Kryptonian, that he feels like he's above everything. He's better than everybody. He kind of ended up having a little bit like a God complex. While all this happened, so he took the egg, Eradicator, and threw it into the sun. Once he's on the sun, he managed to re-emerge again. The thing about the Eradicator, he have died so many times that he finds a way to come back. In a way that, comic book wise, it makes sense. It's a fun story, what can I say? So he comes back on Man of Steel #1. But he doesn't come back as an egg. From the egg, he came back kind of like a mass of energy. Kind of like imagine like a clay face, kind of. This kind of like a clay face, but pure energy. All that is going on. After that, he's watching from the distance what's going on, this and that. And then the death of Superman happens. And then comes the resurrection of Superman. So, the first appearance of Eradicator on the reign of Superman, because being on the Fortress of Solitude, he managed kind of like fix himself to look more human-like, and that's where this story comes. That's the birth of the Eradicator, which I'm going to show you the picture. And he used those shades, and he used the shades because the sunlight, he's kind of like the sunlight, the yellow sun is kind of hurt, it will hurt his eyes, so that's why he uses those cool shades that looks like more like ugly sunglasses. So once that everything's good, so once he took that new form, he's watching from the Fortress of Solitude what's going on, and he decided, well, I'm gonna be the Superman because I am not gonna let all these wannabes to use Superman name because they are not the real Superman. Now he believes that he's the real Superman for a brief time because he has the memory from the body of Superman. what is left of his solar energy in Superman's body. So he kind of like, he absorbed that plus the memory. So that way, for a brief moment, we all thought, or he thought himself, that to be the real Superman. That's why he almost convinced Lois Lane he was the real Superman, which eventually we know that he's not. So while all that's going on, he teamed up with the rest of the Superman to fight against Mongol and Superman Cyborg, avoiding to destroy Code City, which eventually we all know that it got destroyed. And Hal Jordan, he got crazy, he started killing all the Guardians, all the Green Lantern Corps, get all the rings and turned himself into, that was the name here, after the death, after the destruction of Green Lantern Cold City, he turned into, forgot the name of it, whatever, you know what I'm talking about. So anyway, so eventually once the real Superman shows up, everything's fixed, Superboy goes his own way, Steel goes his own way, Superman Cyborg, helicopter. Okay, so once all the reign of Superman story is over, so kind of like Eradicator, kind of like he left after being beat by Superman. You see, because Eradicator, he always try to make planet Earth as Krypton. He even tried to take the yellow sun and turn it into the red sun, the same type of sun back in Krypton, which eventually got defeated by Superman. He tried to take over planet Earth, to turn it into planet Krypton, which eventually got defeated again by Superman. You see, so Eradicator, to be such a new character, he's been through a lot of stuff. I mean, he's been really pain in the ass in the life of Superman. So believe it or not, I mean, just to be created back in 1989, Eradicator has a lot of history in such a short time, which that's why I love it. While all that is going on, after all that is going on, everything's over, the Superman takes their own place, the reign of Superman is over. So kind of like the Eradicator, kind of like he was kind of like lost. He turned into kind of like nice guy in a way. So once that he got defeated by Superman, Star Lab took the body of the Eradicator and take it to the Star Lab to investigate to see what he's made of, what he can do or what he cannot do. While all that's going on, a mini-series came out back in the 90s, which is the Eradicator. So here, one of the doctors or scientists that was working on the Eradicator's body, dead body, he kind of merged himself with the Eradicator, kind of like mixed it up, because he was dying of cancer. So he wanted to keep his memory in the body of the Eradicator. So on this miniseries, we get to see that he has a conflict, because he will get all the memories of the dying scientist. Problem with his family, the conflict that he wants to be a good guy, and he has kind of like a identity crisis. He's not sure if I should be a good guy or bad guy, because he doesn't know how to be a good guy or bad guy at the same time, if that makes any sense. So basically here is a conflict of personality between the Eradicator and the doctor that merged himself into the body of the Eradicator, which eventually Eradicator, he find out what's going on. He kind of like killed, he actually, if I'm not mistaken, let me see, which this is a good miniseries, but to make sense of it, you have to kind of like read all the Superman books. Yes, here he kind of like he left planet Earth, and that was the the last time that we saw. Although eventually later on, Eradicator, it was part of this team, the Outsiders. He was part of that team. Then after that, after here, he went to be part of the Outsiders team. Kind of, he become a good guy. Then after that, I don't know what. After that, that's when I started reading comic books. That was on the year 2000. I know that there have been a lot of stories after that, but what I have is up to here. So now the New 52. The New 52, the first appearance of Eradicator happens on Supergirl issue number 20. Now here he appears as a robot. It's like a four-legged robot, kind of like a four-legged machine, and not the egg shape. Which eventually Eradicator reappears on the Superman books. I'm not sure if it is on Action Comics or Superman, where he actually appears as he used to appear here. If I'm not mistaken, look, when he appears here as a mass of energy. So now we have the Eradicator in the New 52 in the second stage, because they haven't mentioned yet the first stage, which is the egg. So I'm doing this video because I know that I don't know when, sometime on the future, not too far away, there's gonna be a big storyline with the Eradicator, because the Eradicator is one of the coolest foes or Superman has on his rogue gallery. So if you get to see in the future a storyline on the Superman books about Eradicator, the Eradicator, well, you have more or less an idea what the character is about and where he comes from. And that's it, guys. Sorry that I took too long to make this video, but like I said, I had to read a lot and try to have it in chronological order from the beginning up to where I have the comic books. I mean, I could have done it easy, just go Google up and read it, all the information, memorize it, and just say it. But nah, I'd rather tell the story showing the comic books. I mean, tell you the history of whatever character that I'm doing, having the comic books where I get the information from. So, well, guys, this is it. I hope that you liked the video. And before I say goodbye, I want to say thank you to everybody that liked the video, the history of Doomsday, and all the comments. And I want to say thank you to everybody. And I'm glad that all of you, the people who watched the video, like it, the Doomsday history. And this one is the Eradicator. What's going to be my next history? I don't know. I will figure out something. Like I said, I have to check all my collection to see where I can choose from. Well, guys, this is it. I hope that you liked the video. See you later. Bye.